Greetings, everyone. I am here with another fun class for you. I call it the VIA Character and Passions. Uh, this started out in another class I took somewhere else where you go and you take this personality assessment, I guess you could call it, online. And as we were doing it, I'm like, wait a minute. There's so much more to this that we could do. And I just started getting all this revelation on how to turn this in to helping us discover our personal identity. And we don't realize that so many times it's just laying right in front of us. And it's been there our entire lives, but people have stuffed things in us. I mean, think about all those things you wanted to do that you never did, or that you just naturally do well. I mean, think of your bucket list, things that you just did as a kid that you never even thought about could be a passion or even could be a career. Uh, I mean, I can think of so many examples. Even when I was a child, we used to play house. Guess who was the teacher? Huh. Guess what I grew up to be? A teacher. And one of the things as a teacher that I have learned is hit as many learning styles as you possibly can, which is one of the reasons I use PowerPoint presentations in some of these videos, because you're listening, you're seeing, and you're connecting dots in a variety of places. Anyway, so without further ado, I am going to share screen, and then we're going to get this PowerPoint presentation started. And we're going to start from the beginning, which is a very good place to start. And there goes the origami flying away. I've done a couple of different things. I, after a while, have to do something different than the curtain. All right, so I'm going to move myself up to the very top. And let's begin. So it's called the VIA Character and Passions course. And it comes in 4 lessons. The first lesson is all about your passion list, creating your passion list. Lesson 2 is let's take a look at your character strengths. Now, everyone thinks that, oh, there's interesting character, there's not so interesting character, there's good character. We'll get into that. Then lesson 3 is your passion recipe. Then 4 is goal setting and planning. Finally, there's a whole PDF with instructions where you can start filling in all the blanks and adding in your own stuff. The whole point is to grow into your identity. And our identity can often be thwarted by things that people have said about us. An example, I had an 8th grade math teacher who told me, oh, you'll never be any good at math. And guess what? She was right. But my problem was I believed her. I had to get over all this, the icky things that people said to me, because that's their perception of me. I need to find my own perception of me. So this is about learning to grow in your identity. You need to see your strengths. Even your weaknesses are strengths. What are the possibilities? What are they? Then begin dreaming about them. Lesson 1. This is creating your passion list. What are you passionate about? What have you never done that you always wanted to do? Where do your natural talents reside? What things do you do well that just come second nature to you? You might have to ask people to help you with this, because sometimes we block stuff out. What do people say you do well? And sometimes what people say you don't do well, that's just because you haven't fostered that. Then you want to make a list of 25 to 50 things that you are passionate about, or things that you've done well. For example, I was really good at sales. I really didn't like doing it, but I'm good at it. I'm good at teaching. I've noticed that as a child. People always said, oh, you're such a good musician. And all the way through college, I mean, I succeeded well in music, but I said to people, look, it takes me longer to learn things than most people. But the thing that I do different than a lot of people is I spend a lot of time practicing. I mean, you can be good at anything if you put your mind to it. Are you passionate about it? That's the question. Add to the list as new topics and new things come to your mind. You want to consider your jobs, your hobbies, your crafts. I'm a very creative person. At the same time, I'm very academic. It seems like those two are polar opposites, but they're not really. I was with a women's music fraternity that we were trying to raise money. And I'm like, hey, let's take old musical instruments and make lamps out of them. Because I remember seeing one of those when I was in something. And everyone looked at me, what are you going to do? Like, let's make lamps. And I had fun going to Goodwill and all these places and finding all these funky looking lamp bases and then getting old flutes and trumpets and clarinets and then getting a lamp kit and putting them all together and finding these really cool lamp shades. And we sold them and made good money that we could use to give, have instruments repaired for local schools. I mean, you just never think about these things. I mean, if you've got such a creative mind, then how does that fit into your passion list? Next, this is where we get into your character strengths. Go to the viacharacter.org website, viacharacter.org, and there's a link to it in the first lesson. Take the free survey. Write down these categories: wisdom, courage, humanity, which also is humility, transcendence, justice, and temperance, which is also moderation. You can name it whichever one you want. The idea is to assess your strengths. Even a weakness is a strength, but is being underused. In the very last page of the enclosed PDF with this lesson, there's a list of all the different character strengths and their underused, their optimal use, and their overused categories, so you can see where you fit within that. Then lesson 3 is all about creating a passion recipe. And you're looking here and you're like, this is a bodacious looking raspberry tart. What are the ingredients? Well, every passion recipe is going to have a series of ingredients. So you're going to begin taking your passion list of at least 50 items by this time, and you're going to include your emotional, spiritual wants, desires, and passions as well. It's not just, do I want to be, like I started out as a college student, I want to be a professional clarinetist and play in the New York Philharmonic. Well, that ended up not happening, but I adjusted my passions more once I realized, once I got into my master's program, I said, I think I just want to be a teacher, because I was in a conservatory. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this for a living. So things change. But I was also passionate about helping other people. So that can be on your list as well. You're going to add things to this list that aren't just necessarily jobs or passions or hobbies. They're going to be mindsets as well, things that are not tangible. Like I said, helping people is one on mine. And I give samples in the actual class. What passions on your list have a connection? So you come up with a recipe. So for example, healing frequencies music, that's one of my recipes. What are all the pieces that go into healing frequencies music? You can tell that on my website, because I have courses, I have mentoring, I have coaching, I do a song of the month subscription, I create albums, I do blog posts that talk about frequency stuff. All of that is part of the healing frequencies music passion recipe. Then you're going to begin adding those ingredients. But at the same point, for example, my blog posts are not just on healing frequencies music. Those are on other passion recipes. The albums that I create are not just for healing frequencies music. I put them in other recipes, like my Healing at the Cellular Level course and the Mountains, Castles, and Mountains, Gates, and Castles class. I have some of the music stuff in there. So I have a variety of different passion recipes that have the same thing in them. And I just say here, they're the same ingredient may be on different lists. And you learn all about that in how to do that in the class. Then lesson 4 is all about goal setting. And I love this quote. People are not lazy. They simply have impotent goals that do not inspire them. I mean, and Anthony Robbins, I mean, obviously it didn't show the whole quote in this, which is a bummer, but that quote is in the class. This is a category that will take some time. You have to learn to be patient with yourself. It requires persistence to accomplish goals, even when things get tough. Without goals, the ability to move forward lacks momentum. We've got to learn to be persistent. Create goals you're passionate about that you want to complete. Desire a starting point for creating goals. And then the practical application comes in that PDF. And I use my example of myself, which I put a lot of this information in my book, Transforming Mindsets, but it came throughout my process of literally changing my mindsets so I could see things from a more positive perspective. We tend to see things as from the more negative perspective, like the glass is half empty rather than half full. We've got to get out of that mindset of negativity in order to make this work. Because you're going to take your passion list, your recipes, and your goals, and then you're going to begin inputting them in the PDF form that's in that last section, and make photocopies and keep doing it with different ones. You're going to discover how to begin implementing your passions into your business and your personal life. Discover which strengths are underused, optimal use they used in the thing, but I call it more balanced, and which ones are overused, and make adjustments as needed. And the last thing is where do you get the class? Well, there's going to be a link below to the product on Healing Frequencies Music, then where you can read about the class. Then there's a buy now button at the top. You click on that. It takes you to Gumroad, where you can make your secure purchase. But wait, if you don't already have a Gumroad account, sign up for one. But do not wait for Gumroad to send you a link. It often goes to your junk mail. Just log into your Gumroad account and then access all the PDFs. You can download them. Then you open up the PDFs and all of the teachings, because I do an audio teaching or a visual teaching where I go through a PowerPoint presentation, and there's some other things in there, and you just click on those links within the PDFs. And so that's what you do. So thank you for that. And to see what other classes I have available, please visit healingfrequenciesmusic.com. Again, this class, if you're truly trying to discover your identity, this class is for you. Then I recommend that you get the Mountains, Gates, and Castles. I use a lot of imagination and a lot of visual things to get your imagination working correctly, and to also help you see where you might be stuck. And I believe that this class, the Via character, comes with the Healing at the Cellular Level class, as well as my book, Transforming Mindsets, also comes with the Healing at the Cellular Level class as too. You get them both as part of that class. So I would, if you are taking the VIP section of that class, something to consider. That's why I suggest you go to the shop page, which I will put in the link below here as well, that takes you directly to the courses so you can see which courses there are and which ones have pieces of other courses in them. All right. We'll see you in the next description. And as always, have a bodacious day.